Bauer with David Bauer Custom Homes. So today we're talking about the history of why we're using the current technology in designing and developing home plans and building homes, unlike we used to do in the years in the past. So I got to take you back in history a little bit. So back in the late 70s, actually before then, I would work for my older brothers. I'm 12th of 14 children. So I'd work for my older brothers in the trades, building additions and remodeling homes. My dad would purchase homes, so we would remodel them. And so in the late 70s, I decided, well, I better take a course on how to actually draw blueprints and design homes. So then I went into educating or taking courses to educate myself on how to design plans. So anyone with a little bit of age on them would remember the old blueprints. So we'd actually draw the plans out to scale, put everything in the blueprints, and then with a special process would make blueprints. So today we even call them blueprints, even though there's no blue on the prints unless you got colored plans. The problem with blueprints or any kind of plan is that they're hard for the typical average person to read. So, so for years, I would design a house, draw it. It would be one-dimensional. So we'd have to turn the page to get 2 dimensions. So you look at the front of the house, and then you turn the page, and then you look at the side of the house, and you have to remember what the front of the house looked like. So you would see the side of the house, and then to get that 3rd dimension, I'd either have to draw a sketch of an angle on the house or maybe introduce the aerial view. And so then a person, a lay person that's not used to watch or looking at blueprints would have to pull all this together and say, oh, that's what my house is going to look like. Sometimes I would build a house and we would get to a certain point and the person says, well, that's not the house I designed. That's not how I visualized it. And that was the problem with the blueprint approach. So what we've developed over the years, not us, but the people that are real techie, they've developed 3D modeling, 3-dimensional modeling. And so we initially, about 5 years ago, we were asking for others outside the company, outside of DBCH, to provide 3D modeling. However, they may have been good at 3D modeling, 3D imaging, but they didn't know the industry. So there was a disconnect. So then in January, we brought it in-house. And so Caleb's been working hard to educate himself on the 3D imagery. And then we're taking our knowledge of the industry, merging it with the 3D modeling, the computer modeling. And now we've come out with something that we are super excited about. And our customers now can see the house before we even lay the first brick or dig the hole. So we're going to take you through that process, just one video at a time, as to how we went from the 70s to today. It's a black and white copy. So years ago, we would be working off of blueprints. So all this ink would be blue, but now just modern technology, we now have black prints, but we don't call them black prints. So this is a typical blueprint though. You're going to see the house from the front, so front elevation. You see one-dimensional picture of what that house looks like. You have a side elevation, you get to see the side. Very seldom does a blueprint show you the house on an angle. This house happens to be on a 22-degree angle, so you're actually seeing something that you normally don't see in a house. So normally when a person looks at the house, they can't get the dimensions of what this house is going to really look like. So then what I normally do is I'll take a pad and I'll go, well, that's what this is going to look like. So then I give them something to see in the house. So, you know, I'll draw the arches in and corbels And then I'll bring the shed roof out so that the person can get this three-dimensional look on their house. Within a very short period of time, they start saying, oh, that's what my house is going to look like from an angle. And then the other angle, I can draw that in as well. So it's just sketching is all we're doing. So for years, I would, on the Tyvek of the house, I would draw a sketch, or inside the house on the drywall, I go, well, this is what your cabinets are going to look like when they're sitting in place. So your little oven above your range, and your range is sitting here, and then you've got this other cabinet over here. So just try to give them some depth to what their kitchen's going to look like, and then I would even draw the island in and what have you. So columns, and so of course this is just a real quick sketch of what I would have to do to get that 3D, three-dimensional depth that a person needs in order to make a decision. Very difficult. Today, now it's all computer. It's just wonderful that we can take the blueprints and plug them into the software, and we have now three-dimensional color imaging that a person can actually walk through their home, see around their house. We can actually flip the house upside down if you'd like. I'd never want to do that in real life, but we can do that as part of this process. And so what this allows the homeowner to do is be able to see their home, move furniture around their home, live in their home before we even start building it.